Good afternoon and welcome to Rebels Radio latest away day. We are at Hayward Park, Aylesbury, a very sunny and glorious day here really, although there's a little bit of cloud coming in. I'm joined by Adrian as ever. How are you, Adrian?
I'm very well, John.
Good, I am, and we have been really well welcomed here. We're in the main stand here, just off the side of the pitch next to the host kind of MC, aren't we? So you may hear some other noise in the background, but don't worry at all, it's all standard. We might have some signal issues though, it seems to be dropping out internet here.
Yeah,
so
it's just as well it's not smell radio as well, because we're right next to the T-bar as well.
There's quite a lot of burgers going on here, and quite a lot of ugly looking patrons, as well as some good looking ones. But would you like to go through the teams, Zach?
I would love to go through the teams. Aylesbury today, in goal they have James Weatherall. 2 is Rob Tomlin. 3 is Connor Baker. 4 is Sam Bateman, the manager's son. Captain is Steve Perkins. 6 is Ben Stevens. 7 Jamie Rudd. 8 Kevin Mellor. 9 Gareth Price. 10 Brian Hall. 11 Lamar Simpson. And the subs for Aylesbury are 12 Ben Bateman. 13 is Fraser McLachlan, 14 is Jacob Lowe, 15 is Greg Copcutt, and 16 is Derek Fahey.
So, that's brilliant. Do you want to go through the Rebels now?
I'll do the Rebels. In goal is Jake Somerville, 2 Sean Fraser, 3 is Ben Edwards, the only change to the starting 11 from Saturday, 4 is Captain Guy Hollis, 5 is Daniel Sintim, 6 George Short, 7 Johnny Dyer, 8 James McClurg, 9 Ed Smith, 10 Warren Harris, 11 James Dobson, and the subs for Slough today are 12 Wes Harrison, 14 Jake Parsons, 15 Gareth Risbridger, 16 Seb Costello, and 18 is Adam Cornell.
And referee is Paul Howard, assisted by Mark Tweed and Andreas Anastu. The two teams, as you may have heard from the local PA, are just coming on, and a whole number of grey balloons are being released. It's Sponsors Day here at Aylesbury, and they're floating away up to the left from a net, and Slough dressed all in purple, led out by Guy Hollis, just coming out, and Aylesbury dressed in red shirts, black sleeves with black shorts and red shorts are just coming through. We'll leave you to the host broadcaster to hear the teams.
Hall, but Dan Simpson gets to the first ball there. So it's a throw into Aylesbury on the left, just outside the box. Quick throw taken to Hall, but Simpson brings it out, gives it to Dobson. Dobson inside Smith.
And then McClurg set Harris in on the right hand side, and Harris through on goal into the edge of the area, tries to pass it across to Dobson, but pass it across towards Dobson, but then cleared well by Aylesbury, but only as far as the midfield of McClurg, and McClurg's now on the ball, short pass to Short back to Hollis, and now Hollis has got opportunity to take a little bit of time, see what he's doing. He's looking for a ball into Warren Harris's feet on the near side, but just nicked away, and now Hollis chips it up the line, but chips it out of play.
Yeah, it's a good chance for Warren Harris there in that first half. Decided to play the ball across rather than go himself. Most probably the wrong decision. It was well blocked by the Aylesbury defender. But at the moment it's a throw into Aylesbury in their own half. It's aimed long again to Hall, but Fraser wins that one well.
And it looks as if Jacob Lowe has started actually on wearing 14. Is that correct?
I can see 14, but I can't see who's not on.
No. So Lowe is on from the start. Maybe speak to our locals, and we'll see what they think is the situation there, because it is unusual. The drama you can hear is banging loudly as Slough try and get the ball under control. An early frenetic start treated, I believe it's for actually Sam Bateman, is it?
It is Sam Bateman, yes.
Yeah.
One of 2 ex-Slough players in the first 11 for Aylesbury, the other one being a non-league legend in Steve Perkins, who's been around the non-league scene for quite a long time.
He's older than God, isn't he? He's an old man, isn't he?
He's well old. He's got to be at least like 96 something at least.
96, and so it's really interesting to see as the treatment's still continuing. The managers are just having a couple Wes Harrison, I can see on the bench, coming back for Slough to provide some defensive cover. A long hold up in play this, as the Slough wall for all. Everyone's kind of just looking round. It's a stop in the game. If you're joining us late, we've played nearly 8 minutes here at Haywards Way, and it is 0-0. No clear chances really for either side, but a free kick for Aylesbury, probably 30-35 yards out, centre of goal. We're just waiting for it to be taken. We welcome any of those first timers. Let us know where you are and where you're listening at MyFC Rebels Radio. Please mention us, any questions you might have, photos of where you are. I know there's people probably listening in Portugal, in America, all over the place. Please say hello. And there's a car parked badly in the car park, but I don't think it'll be any of yours.
If it is yours, can you please come down to Aylesbury and move it now, please?
Yeah, Uxbridge have taken the lead early against North Greenford, so that's an interesting game in the relegation battle.
It is interesting today, John, that obviously Aylesbury manager Steve Bateman, who was the manager for 4 seasons before this season for Slough, he had 4 seasons where he didn't take Slough up, and he's got the chance today to make sure that Slough don't go up as well. After Saturday's result, it's important to get 3 points today, get back into it.
And obviously there was it looks like Bateman's going to be going off, so this is an early substitution. They've got an electric board. It's an electric board. Have you seen that?
He's actually being replaced by his younger brother Ben.
So if we just continue
Ben
to say
coming
Bateman,
on for
after 8 minutes. So Ben Bateman is now on the pitch, and I'm not sure how that changed the game plan. Have you seen much of the two Batemans?
Sam Bateman played quite a lot for Slough when his dad was manager, but he didn't seem to pick his son quite often. It was quite strange. Ben was a young lad. I think he was only 15, 16 at the time. So Sam's played quite a lot. Good player. He scored the last-minute equaliser at Barton Rovers a couple of seasons ago, which we did at the Barton game.
And the free kick's finally ready, and it's Price stood over it, right-footed. I would say 25, 30 yards out, and he's going to have a strike. Curls it straight into the middle of the goal, straight into Somerville's arms. Somerville races to the edge of his box, looks for an option to do it. There's a shout of do it, and Somerville clears out, but unfortunately not that accurately towards Ed Smith, and it's a free opportunity for Baker to take a touch, but the ball's one back, and Johnny Dyer takes out Ben Stevens, and it's just a slightly cynical challenge.
I don't think it was cynical. It was sly was maybe the word that you could use for that one there.
He always likes a little tackle, as we saw on Saturday, almost immediately in front of us.
Is it true that he is Danny Dyer's harder brother?
I think he is Danny Bra's harder brother, but he's slightly more ginger, I would say, than Danny Bra. He's ever so slightly ginger. Free kick taken by Stevens outright. Ben Edwards well up, wins the first ball, wins the second with a volley, and it will fall to McClurg in the middle of midfield. He had an opportunity to take it down, and then there's a bit of after you, after me, Maud, and Short finally gets a foot in there, pokes it out in the direction of Warren Harris. Warren Harris flicks the ball through away from Baker, and then ball play through, and Johnny Dyer's in, but
keeper's coming out for it
and win it, and cleared it well and long. It's quite an open game. We've played almost 11 minutes here, and it is 0-0 in this key game for Slough to try and achieve the playoffs. If they win today and Barton fail to win, they're almost guaranteed because of their much far superior goal difference of that playoff spot. But at the moment, the ball's with Somerville. Goal kick to be taken on our left. Slough shooting from left to right, and they're all purple out kit. Aylesbury, there's a good crowd in here. How many would you say? Maybe 250?
Got to be about 250 here today, John. Large amount of travelling support from the Rebels today. Coach was quite full. Quite a few people were stuck in traffic. For some reason, there's always roadworks on a bank holiday Monday.
And even some people couldn't even be bothered to drive. They walked, didn't they? They walked all the way from Slough, all 25 miles, I understand.
Three of the mad people were left Slough at 6:30 this morning to get here and walk up.
Fraser, free kick into Smith's feet. Smith back to McClurg on the edge of the box, but now it's fallen to Aylesbury, and Aylesbury will clear the ball out and relieve the pressure temporarily. But a bit of better football there by Slough, but the game yet to settle on this hard pitch. Some of the grass has been cut, but I understand there was some issues with the rotor blades kind of halfway through. So the groundsman who I spoke to earlier, the near part to us is where I'd play because it's cut. The rest there's a little bit of daisies on it in our position, so just watch out. And Fraser shields the ball out, throws it into Harris, but hooked clear and quickly. And now the opportunity for Price to combine with towards Bateman, and Ben Edwards is after this down in the left back channel for Slough, being pushed by Jamie Rudd, and Rudd puts enough pressure on him but blocks the ball. It'll be a Slough throw. We've played 12 minutes.
Game's not settled down. Your moment, that injury was the thing that stops everything. Currently with Ben's taken about an extra 20 yards from the throw-in. I hope he's not a carpet fitter by trade, because if he does, he's never going to get that right.
Early goal in the title race. Dunstable 1 up at Leighton. Dunstable have taken the lead at Leighton. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Guy Hollis going over to take this one, so Slough going for it at the moment. Dobson at the far post unmarked.
But apologies if the signal does drop out at all. Please just keep refreshing. We're having some 3G signals out here, and the opportunity, Lamar Simpson clears it, and Bateman sends Pricey on his bike, but Fraser's wise, so it hooks the ball out, and it'll be a throw in 5 yards inside the Slough half on the far left, which Lamar Simpson looks like he would take. He's passing it on to Baker though, and we have played almost 40 minutes here.
Sean Fraser's going to have a lot to do today. The number 11 for Aylesbury, Lamar Simpson, looks like quite a handful. He's got a bit of pace on him, so Sean's going to be on his top game for that.
Ball down in the far left-hand corner, delivered in by Baker. Hollis clears the ball hard to Ed Smith up just inside his own half, but Ed Smith's header in the direction of Warren Harris doesn't find Harris, and it'll be a throw into Aylesbury, just down on the left, and still yet to settle. I think it could do with a game. A goal.
A goal?
A game.
It would be nice to see a game here as well.
It would be nice to see a game. As the ball's finds Price 20 yards out through to Mellor, and Mellor's pass is just overhit. Not quite on the same wavelength as Hall there, and Somerville's got the ball now in the sun down to our left. If you haven't been to Aylesbury, there's a stand, a seated stand with a T-bar just on the halfway line opposite the dugouts, and then away from the dugouts in the direction to our left is Somerville's goal, which is there's some other training pitches,
mistake by Jake.
A little bit of trees and things, and then to our right a big tree and a small stand with "Welcome to Aylesbury FC." It's quite an old small pitch, isn't it? Really,
it is. It's a nice, quaint little ground. The bar is upstairs. You have to go up the stairs and then down the stairs to come back out. The clash of heads there.
Clash of heads. The referee will stop it immediately.
Johnny Dyer and Connor Baker.
Johnny Dyer's got his thumb in the air. They both look a little bit frustrated and pained by that, but hopefully all is well. Yeah, so the only other scores that we've really got, Rugby are 1-0 up against Barton, which Seb Lake Gaskin continues his goal-scoring form with a goal for Rugby. So Rugby are winning at Barton.
Had a very good game on Saturday, didn't he, John?
Yeah, so this is interesting. Both Dunstable and Rugby leading early on, so that would do Slough a huge favour. If Slough can get a victory here and and Rugby continue that form, but that's an interesting score very early on for Rugby. And if you look at our live table, as we're saying, that puts Rugby up into third, 86 points, just 1 point behind Dunstable and Daventry.
Yeah, busiest person here today is the physio for Aylesbury. Just Connor Baker still down with a head injury. Just rolling over now, so
yes, yeah, he's made his way up gingerly, and the referee's got the ball in his hands. And
it's not the person you really want to have a clash of head with, is it? Really, Johnny Dyer?
No, I'm not sure who it's done much damage to. Not sure there's that much intellect to lose, but we'll see. Don't say that to his face though; he might chin you.
Connor Baker's coming off the pitch to a round of applause, but he is looking a bit dazed.
I'm not sure whether that's his normal face. As Ed Smith has a shot from the drop ball, but thankfully it goes wide. And now it will be Wetherall with the opportunity to kick it clear. We've played 17 minutes here. It remains goalless. Quite an even game. No particular chances for either side as yet. The heat might be having its effect. There's certainly quite a dry, bobbly, hard pitch out there. And Steve Bateman, the ex-Slough manager, on his far side in his grey tracksuit top and shorts.
He's got his white legs out for everyone as well today.
Just keep an eye out. I'm sure it'd take great satisfaction if he managed to disrupt the Slough promotion playoff train today. As the long free kick comes up, Ben Edwards started well, wins the ball in the air twice, heads it on in the direction of Johnny Dyer, who heads it on in Ed Smith, but Stevens does well. Falls to Warren Harris though on the right, and he takes a couple of touches, gets it under control, passes it out to Fraser immediately in front of us. Stops the ball, pass it back to George Short, who takes a touch. Price puts him under a little bit of pressure. Ed Smith lets the ball roll in the direction of Johnny Dyer, but then Bateman clears long and high from it, and Simpson falls on that and clears it immediately away to the dugout on the far side, and Aylesbury will have an opportunity to grow from here and to create an attacking platform.
Yeah, very much like Saturday, John, with Slough failing to impose themselves on the game at the moment.
As Slough have an opportunity to break, Johnny Dyer flicks the ball through and has Ed Smith interested, but it will follow. It will go all the way through to Wetherall, and Wetherall will do that. You can still hear the drum in the background. That Aylesbury are very vocal here today. They're having a party. I'm not sure if they've had a few drinks. As
is it quite in tune? So
Yeah, it could be. And there were some very smart dressed players, people earlier, as ball deep in the Slough half at the moment. It's going out harmlessly for a goal kick. You're not missing anything here. There's a good number of fans out here, and we just remain for this game to settle as yet. Not really settled quite yet. And people have got to be really quiet apparently. But we're sat here and it's quite a good game. Quite a lot of family sat around us. The long kick from Somerville finds Harris, but Harris has been to it. McClurg hooks the ball through, and Ed Smith's interested. And flicked back by captain
Steve Perkins.
Just had enough on it to beat Ed Smith.
Almost in there for Ed Smith. It's just a slight touch by Steve Perkins.
And Simpson does well, wins the header, flicked on by Johnny Dyer in the direction of Warren Harris, but Warren Harris doesn't do it. Once again, the ball played up towards Simpson, and Simpson wins it again. The ball's bouncing around an awful lot, and Short now volleys it in the direction of Warren Harris, but Baker jumps up well, recovered from his head injury, and heads it to Short, and then Short heads it onto McClurg. McClurg hooks it forward, and I think Slough are playing it a little bit too much in the air. I think they need to shorten it up and keep the ball on the grass a bit more.
Like Saturday, John, they're looking for a ball over the top, and if it's not cut out by the two centre defenders for Aylesbury, then they're trying to get it into the channels, but need to play it to feet a little bit more, get Warren Harris and James Dobson in the game.
And it's a throw in to Aylesbury on the far right hand side, deep in the Slough half, which they throw in the direction of the centre forward, who's well marshalled there by Hollis, and the ball's going to get cleared by Ben Edwards. Long clearance up in the direction of Johnny Dyer, which Perkins this time gets underneath it. And Johnny Dyer just leans into Stevens enough and wins the second ball back. And Dobson though gets beaten to that there by
He's got to get back as well. He's just standing. He's not running back to get anything.
Yeah, and Dobson needs to work harder, but Short comes back, picks up the ball inside his own half, has an opportunity. Short pass to McClurg. McClurg, plenty of time in the centre circle, in the D. Pass it outright to Warren Harris, who's got plenty of grass in front of him. He's being pursued by Lamar Simpson, and he's still chasing down to the far right and tries to draw
and
across.
It's a corner off Connor Baker. Great run by Warren Harris there, but it is. So Aylesbury have obviously done their homework. Every time Warren Harris gets the ball, Connor Baker 3 and Lamar Simpson 11 are both tracking back, trying to stop him getting that supply line through to the Slough forwards.
So we await the in-swinging corner from Dobson as the sun just fades behind the shadows here, and Simpson goes towards the near post. George Short in there, Hollis in there, Johnny Dyer. Lots of movement in and around the box as the ball comes in. Johnny Dyer flicked header just wide of the far post, and that was the first real opportunity.
Good opportunity for Slough. There was a great flick on by Johnny Dyer, but none of the Slough players at the far post gambled on that flick on. And it's just gone out for a goal kick. So
we have played approximately 21.5 minutes here. Wins in midfield, flicked on by McClurg, who gets it back off Smith and now clips the ball through, and Johnny Dyer's in. He's beaten the offside trap in the far left hand side of the box with his left foot, first time cross, but cut out well.
A lack of support there for Johnny Dyer. Yeah. Warren Harris was the furthest player forwards.
And now George Short, he's seen plenty of the ball early on, wins the ball off McClurg and then flicks the ball forward, but again is repelled, I think this time by Bateman, and Hollis has won a number of headers in there with Price, and now the ball falls to Baker, the left back Baker in the direction of Price up in the far left hand side, but I think the ball will beat him and it will go out for a Slough throw. We've played 22.5 minutes. We're halfway through this first half, goalless.
Interesting to see that Jamie McClurg's not getting as far forwards as he likes to. He's playing alongside George as the two holding midfielders, and we're getting whenever the ball's coming back out.
It on. Johnny Dyer now up on halfway, back to Short, and Short will have a touch and then try and set a great ball to Dobson on his way, and Dobson's got plenty of space and grass as he advances towards the edge of the box, takes a touch control and look to deliver, bobbled up just in front of him, headed back by Warren Harris onto the back.
It's given a corner.
I think it was a corner. Warren Harris headed it onto the back of the number 5 Captain Perkins' head, otherwise it might have been going towards that far post. He headed it onto the back of his head.
It was a good cross by Dobson, and there was two in there. Johnny Dyer and Warren Harris was there. It moved over the head of Johnny Dyer. Warren Harris was there winning the header, and he's headed it back down, and it's a corner on the far side, and it's going to be James Dobson to take it. It's going to be an outswinger. Slough putting the men in the bodies, but none of their usual dance routines for the corner.
Ball comes in, headed back into Johnny Dyer, but well hooked clear again by Perkins, who seems to be everywhere. And Hollis now on the near side, pass it back to Fraser on the halfway line. Fraser delivers the ball in towards the far box. Simpson still up. Simpson rises, but beaten to it by Hall, but falls out to Dobson. Dobson has a hit with his left foot, but it's left of the post and into your friends there behind the goal.
It's a good effort there by Dobson, but A mistake there by Tomlin, the number 2. Should have cleared that one better, but Slough need to have someone more on the edge of the box when that ball comes in, getting those chances. But it's not a great game, is it, John?
It's not the best. It hasn't quite settled, but I think there's a lot on it. It's hot. Slough are under a little bit of pressure. Aylesbury want to stifle Slough, and I think they'd be the happier after 25 minutes here as the ball's in on halfway. Short, challenged well. Dobson with his wrong foot hooks the ball forward in the direction of Ed Smith, and Ed Smith and Perkins battling up there, but it falls to Dobson again. Dobson hooks the ball into the corner, and that will go harmlessly out for a goal kick, and pressure once again relieved. There's just a lack of quality a little bit.
Yeah, keeper's kept that one in, so he's going to be kicking that one from his hands, but they're obviously looking for 10 Hall on the long kick up forwards, and Price is quite a speedy little player. You can see why he's a good goal scorer.
Dunstable are 2 goals to the good at Leighton now, so it's Leighton 0, Dunstable 2. They're really pushing for a high position as Warren Harris picks up the ball and is driving fast and past, and just the ball bobbled away from him there unluckily, and it will now fall to Rudd, and Rudd has the opportunity to run at Fraser down the left. Rudd over halfway, just stops his run and then tries to play a ball into Price, but Hollis is there and Hollis clears the ball out well, and the locals are happy with some of this football being played, and Price looks quite lively up. They're giving Hollis a bit of a run around there, a bit of chasing. Very
good play. He's got a bit of speed about him. He can hold the ball up as well. Quite confusing that he's still wearing the number 14 shirt, but
we'll get around that though.
We'll get around that.
I'm sure we'll cope at some point. So, throw from Baker. Up, and Hollis wins it well. Hooked on further by McClurg to Ed Smith. Ed Smith flicks it in the direction of Johnny Dyer centre, but once again Perkins underneath it hooks it up onto halfway. One in the air by Mellor, who's having a good game in the centre of the park, and he's on the ball again as he hooks a ball into Lamar Simpson, and Ben Ed comes up and defends, but the ball falls through to Somerville, and Somerville will look to clear early. A high kick. Ed Smith puts his arm underneath it, flicked on by Johnny Dyer. Things aren't just quite coming off just as yet as the ball back and Short heads it up. Johnny Dyer chests it back to McClurg, and McClurg takes a touch, hits it off Dyer, and Simpson will pick it up. But
yeah, Simpson swap flanks with Rudd. He's playing now on the right hand side, so maybe they've realised that Ben Edwards is maybe not a natural left back.
A little bit of us was there. Johnny Dyer showing his enthusiasm chasing the ball down.
Is that what you call it? Enthusiasm?
Enthusiasm stroke pub style as he just clattered into Stevens, and the long clearance from Witherall bouncing around in midfield, and Captain Perkins comes a long way, heads the ball through to Price, but Short pickpockets him, and Short passes the ball up to Ed Smith, who's got a little bit of space, back to Johnny Dyer. Johnny Dyer, nice little touch off to Dobson. Dobson advancing towards the edge of the box with his left foot, and he's going to pull the trigger across goal, crosses it, bobbles around. Ed Smith just couldn't get enough on it, and that was a clear goal scoring opportunity for Ed Smith.
Cracking cross by James Dobson, and what happened there was that both Johnny Dyer and Ed Smith were in the middle. Dyer left it for Smith, and I don't think he was expecting the ball to get to him.
And once again Stevens does well, comes out from the back, and Slough are attacking down the right there, and Price making a clever run in behind Hollis again, but Hollis is wise to this. Hollis has started very brightly there. He seems very solid as captain there, and he's just now picking after Hall, and Hall's flicked it on to Price down in the far left, and Fraser does what's best and just simply clears the ball out. So quite an open game, quite even I would say. There isn't particularly Slough dominant or Aylesbury dominant. When both sides go forward they look like they could challenge and threaten.
Yeah, the midfield battle is going to be the thing that decides this game, John. At the moment it's fairly even. None of the two midfielders of either side are putting their foot on the ball and controlling it, but it's got to get a little bit better.
So yes, throw in on the far side to Aylesbury in the far corner, inside to Rudd, and Rudd now combining with Price, and Price towards the far corner. It was a kind of cross shot, and Somerville did well in his yellow, but just shut down there by Hall to prevent a quick kick, and he now kicks it high and long and in the direction of Johnny Dyer. Johnny Dyer up against Watkins. Perkins, sorry.
But Perkins jumps with his hand up there and it's hit his arm.
And now Johnny Dyer shows his frustration, and he's looking like he might want to get a booking today. I know he passed a late fitness test today. He had to go out and do some running a little bit earlier before the teams were announced. So
has he been learning from his strike partner Ed Smith?
I'm not sure, but I think the referee's just here. Howard's just having a little word with him, and I think he's giving him the benefit of the doubt and just laying down the law and saying, in no uncertain terms, this will be your last. You've done 2 or 3, absolutely no more. And I think that's quite lenient refereeing.
It's good refereeing there. Johnny Dyer's just had a couple of those niggly little kind of like fouls where he's
some a little bit more blatant as well.
Yeah, where he's just left his body or his foot in or after the person's run past. But referee's done well on that.
free kick which Stevens will take for Aylesbury, just on the halfway line, drives it towards the far post, but Hollis flicks the ball up, and it's going to go out, I believe, for an Aylesbury corner on the far left-hand side. So back trudge Johnny Dyer, and up trudge Stevens and Baker.
Perkins,
the locals next to us are standing up in their excitement for this corner, and it looks as if Price will go across to take this, curl it in, and Slough just organising themselves, picking up players, a big mass of players, purple and red, on the far edge of the box as the sun comes out again here at Haywood's Way, as the ball is just delivered in now towards the far post. It's out over here. Ben Edwards ducks underneath it, and it's harmlessly out for a goal kick, and the locals sit down. The excitement is over for them.
The Aylesbury people have sat down now. They've had their excitement for the day.
Well, let's hope they've had their excitement for the day. We don't know quite whether they've had their excitement.
Apart from our entertaining conversation, of course, John, that's obviously keeping them enthralled.
I wouldn't say we have that much entertaining conversation. But Hayes 2-0 against Chertsey. So Chertsey continue their bad run. Let's hope that continues on Saturday. We've played nearly half an hour here now. It is 0-0 still, as Ed Smith goes up against Price, but won by Ed Smith in the end off Warren Harris. Back from Fraser to McClurg, and McClurg now takes a moment, steps up, but passes the ball, underhits the pass to Rudd, and now Rudd will have the opportunity to attack up against McClurg, and McClurg sticks a foot out, but Rudd skins him, and Rudd's now running forward and sets Price free on the left-hand corner with Hollis in pursuit, and Rice cuts inside, clips it towards the near post, and Somerville's there, and
McClurg was trying to play the killer pass to Fraser there. Fraser was on the overlap, tried to play the killer pass. It was cut out easily by Aylesbury, and they've done well to break.
You're damned if you are, and you're damned if you don't. We accuse them when they try and play football of not doing enough. As the ball falls through to Ed Smith, and Ed Smith to Johnny Dyer, and now Warren Harris is free in the right-hand edge of the box, and Warren Harris will have the opportunity to attack, run at Baker here, and Warren Harris drives a low cross across, but cleared by, I believe it's Stevens, and the ball's out for a Slough throw on the near side.
Down that way. Yeah,
then
down that way.
Throw from Fraser to Dobson, back to Fraser. Fraser will have the opportunity, crosses it, great cross in, Ed Smith free header, 12 yards out, kicks the ground in frustration as it sails over the bar, but Slough are beginning to press a little bit more. They've had a couple of chances in the last few minutes, and
it's Sean Fraser's done well. He's helping out Warren Harris. He's given him the option of the overlap. He's put the good cross in there. Smithy won the header, but it's way over the top, and it's a goal kick to Aylesbury. Wetherell taking his time. He's slowly walking over.
I don't think they're quite playing for time yet. I think it's a hot day. He's just having a look at what's happening.
The keeper looks about 19, so he should be a little bit faster than that.
Yeah. He's probably not encouraged by all those fans, probably giving him a little bit of grief behind it. As the clearance comes up, and Ben Ed wins the ball well, and Ed Smith now turns, controls the ball well, plays the ball in towards Warren Harris, but Baker's across well, clips the ball into the bar, literally, not the crossbar, into probably the bar.
Into the bar.
The bar, not the crossbar. And it will be an attacking throw, which we're just seeing if Hollis is going to go up and take, but there's some discussions at the moment to hold forward, and Hollis has decided to stay at home with Price, and Fraser will take the throw in.
Just still waiting for a ball.
A ball would be good. We need a ball to play. As a little fan around the far side of Slough fans got a ball, and it looks like that's going to be the ball that's going to be used.
Should they book him for time wasting?
That's a sliced kick across the pitch. That's not his best, and McClurg picks it up. Let's see if he has a better accuracy. That's better accuracy than his pass a few moments ago. But we have played 33 minutes here. It is 0-0 as Fraser throws the ball to Ed Smith. Back to Fraser. Fraser delivers a ball in towards far face. Johnny Dyer, free header, heads it across.
Oh, headed off the line.
In the air by Stevens, and then punched away by the keeper. And finally, Tomlin clears up over halfway, but Slough are pushing here. We've played 33 minutes. And
Ben's giving it away.
Poor clearance by Ben Ed finds Hall on the edge of the box, and Simpson and McClure between them do enough to win the ball back. And now Ed Smith on halfway with a little bit of time to turn. Simple ball out underneath him, cuts back inside, has the ball just taken off him. Easy in that challenge there, please, Ed. Short layoff to George Short, and George Short looking up to set Dobson on his way. Ball bobbles just as he kicks it out right to Harris, and underneath it goes Stevens, and Harris now on the right hand side. Back to Fraser. Fraser tries to clip the ball in, edge of the box, takes the touch by Johnny Dyer, turns, shoots just wide of the right hand post. And I don't think the keeper left it deliberately.
Slough appealing for a corner there,
but I think it just bobbled over. Slough are getting closer. They're getting closer now, but it's
getting closer, but we can hardly see it half the time.
Yeah, there's sometimes the burger queue gets in the way, but thankfully the locals are trying to control it so the queuing is going out the way. We have almost 10 minutes left of this first half. Slough coming back into it a little bit stronger in the last 10 minutes or so. after slightly lacking composure in the first 10 or 15 minutes. But long clearance from Witherall, headed well by Simpson, who's won that in the air. Headed back with some interest by Rudd, and bobbling around there in the Slough third of the pitch as Hall now battling with Short and Hollis, and Hollis now wins 2 challenges as well, and Short hooks the ball up clear up to halfway line, and Ed Smith takes it off Miller's hands and to Dobson. Dobson will now have the opportunity to run, pursued closely by Tomlin, but Dobson takes him down into the corner, has a wild slash at it. It bobbled just before he hit it. He's not looking very impressed, and it's out the ground for a goal kick.
I think there is a river behind there, so I know Aylesbury were nicknamed, the other Aylesbury nicknamed the Ducks, obviously, but I think that might have just killed a bit of wildlife.
Yeah, we're at the moles. The moles are under the pitch, or they were under the pitch at some point. Not now, obviously. I think that's the history behind the name. As once again, Wetherall clears it up, and it's a free header there for Hall, and Hall heads it on in the direction of Price, but Fraser's once again there, tidies it up, and McClurg up against a slightly unfair battle there against the rather tall Miller. Miller does best, and now Simpson up against Ben Edwards on the far side. And Ben Edwards does well, defends well, and then chips the ball up the line to Ed Smith, who nonchalantly flicks it on into Dobson, and now Dobson's got an opportunity to run, and Stevens pursues him edge of the box, and Stevens does well.
By Stevens,
he had to gamble and try and cut out that ball because there wasn't enough defenders back, as Perkins was left for dead. But
if he'd have got the ball in there, it was 2 against 1. It was Johnny Dyer and Warren Harris there, just against, I think it was Connor Baker was the covering defender, so well defended by Stevens. We're waiting for yet another ball.
Yeah, there seems to be a little bit of ball amnesty here. There's no match balls here, so there's a little bit of tension. I think Underwood's just having a word with Bateman, and there's a ball being returned from somewhere.
No.
But
there is a ball. There it is.
Ballgate will wrangle along. Royston 1, St Ives 2. Leighton still nil, Dunstable 2. Apparently Marsh scored the second there after Roach scored the first. So throw in from Dobson to Short. Short flicked on into the area, and Johnny Dard just has an opportunity, and it's a corner. It seemed to bounce.
It seemed that Steve Perkins kicked the ball. It hit Johnny Dyer in the face, and it's gone out, and he's somehow given it to a Slough.
Did you say Sue Perkins or Steve Perkins?
Could have been Sue Perkins.
I don't know. It sounded like Sue Perkins to me. I thought, she's not playing, is she? As corner to Slough, far side. Dobson left-footed, outswinger. Slough gathering on the edge of the box, just sorting out what they're doing. Simpson, Shaw and Hollis all huddled together in the D. Ball delivered in, high, looping towards the far post. Comes all the way out to McClurg, edge of the box. Can he do another shot? Flicks it in the direction of Johnny Dyer. Johnny Dyer has a snapshot, sets it on his way, and it's a goal kick to Aylesbury. Slough still pressing a little bit in these last. Could do with getting a goal.
They've been the slightly better team, John, with the better of the chances, but still not putting their foot in the game.
No, it's a tight game out here, and you think that if Slough could get ahead, I'm sure there'll be some words at half time, but if they could get ahead, they might be able to help.
The first goal will be very important today, John. You can see that it will give one of the teams confidence.
As Ben Ed once again started well, considering he hasn't played for a number of weeks, seemed to get fouled there by Simpson, but did well, passes the ball back to Hollis, who's got an opportunity to take a moment, take a touch, hooks the ball clear with his left foot, but that only finds Mellor up on halfway. His pass is misplaced though, and Edwards picks it up again. Got a little moment to pass the ball, uses it well, passes it to Johnny Dyer, who flicks it in the direction. Been better to hold it up there, and George Short having a battle in midfield up against Hall, and finds Fraser, halfway line on the right. Fraser, low ball in the direction of Johnny Dyer, who steps over beautifully for Ed Smith, edge of the box. Ed Smith got the ball, back heels it in to Harris, Harris in, drives
hit the side
letting, but that was a glorious chance there for Harris. Some great interplay there. That's the best football of the game so far.
It's good play there, a great dummy by Johnny Dyer, through to Smith, and he's got the man behind him. He's back-heeled it into the path of Warren Harris. He's come through, Connor Baker with him there, and he's tried to smack it, and he's put it into the side netting, but it's a good chance, good football.
Yeah, a few flicks that sometimes you can accuse don't quite work when they don't come off, but on that occasion they did all come off. It was just the finish that was lacking from Warren Harris. It was quite a tight angle. He went for power, and it just unfortunately sliced it slightly. Short wins again the header in the air, and now out to Ben Edwards in the left back position. Have an opportunity to just get it under control on his wrong foot. Plays a ball cutting into Ed Smith, and Ed Smith holds the ball up. Will turn pursued by Simpson. Short ball to Dobson, tries for the 1-2, but cut out by Tomlin. Tomlin now clears the ball up to halfway. Ben Edwards sees it out, and John Elwood has got the ball. Gives it quickly to Ben Edwards. Look at Slough looking to get the ball back in play quickly. Short, little touch through, but it only finds Simpson. It was poor use of the ball there by Short, and now Bateman got an opportunity, driving forward over halfway, running still, flicks the ball through to no one whatsoever, and Short will be your relieved man there. He gave the ball away cheap.
George Short's having an argument with somebody about the thing, but it was his pass that was short. He misplayed it, and he's arguing with somebody about it, but it was his own fault.
Somerville rolls the ball out of the edge of his 18-yard box, clips the ball through in the direction of Johnny Dyer. Johnny Dyer, Stevens comes through though well and wins it, and now McClurg up against in midfield, and McClurg wins it through to Warren Harris, who's got a bit of space, advancing towards the edge of the 18-yard box, tries to drive past Baker, still with the ball at his foot. Baker does well though, covers
another corner for Slough.
Slough pressing towards the end of this first half. This last 5 minutes or so, Slough have been on top.
A little bit of extra time to play for the 2 injuries in the early part of the game as well, John, so Slough got to make this pressure count.
So, as you were, Dunstable 2-0 up, Rugby 1-0 up. So Slough, if they win, will almost be certain to be guaranteed of a playoff position if other things stay as they are. As we await the corner from Dobson, left-footed, Simpson free at the back stick, heads it back, but harmlessly out for a goal kick. Lots of appealing in there from the Aylesbury players, not quite sure what that was for.
No, a little bit of pushing maybe, John, but we couldn't see anything much in that, but it's come to nothing. So another goal kick for Aylesbury.
As we approach the 40-minute mark in this first half, it remains goalless. Quite an even game which Slough have just come into over the last 5-10 minutes. Ben Edwards been playing quite well in his first game back. Hollis been strong at the back. A little bit of a lack of composure in some of the play, but a few chances coming in the latter stages, I'd say, Aid.
Yeah, the keeper takes a heck of a time to decide he's going to kick it and kick it long, but it's won by Simpson yet again, through to McClurg. But McClurg's had to close down Tomlin, who's had the ball. It's out for a throw into Aylesbury. They're taking their time with it, so they know that half-time's coming soon.
Yeah, I would think there would be a good 2 or 3 minutes at least injury time, because there was a fair amount of treatment. As the ball's thrown through, Dan Simpson just watching this ball harmlessly out, and it will be a throw into Slough down deep in their own half on the far side. And the queue's getting a little bit busier now for the old Burgers at half-time. And Hollis will look to take a long throw there.
Have you got your order in yet, John?
I haven't got an order in yet, no. We'll do that after half-time when it's a little bit less busy. Long throw from Hollis.
Straight into John Underwood's.
John Underwood caught it. I think it must have gone in and out, but that was a good catch from Underwood.
Does he play cricket?
I don't believe he does, no. I think he'd need a lot of sun cream if he did. As Tomlin takes the throw for Aylesbury, an opportunity perhaps to attack. Price picks it up, going back towards his own goal. Clears the ball out left in the direction of Rudd, and Rudd comes back and picks it up, but pursued quite heavily by Warren Harris. And Baker then pickpocketed by McClurg, but then cleared well by Stevens, who's been, I think, Aylesbury's probably strongest player in this first half, and Hollis heads the ball out, and it will be an attack.
Lack of communication there between Hollis and Fraser.
An attacking throw to Aylesbury.
The ball was no danger of going to any Aylesbury player, and Guy Hollis has headed that out for a throw-on. Could have just given it to Fraser.
Cleared long by Short, up in the direction of Dyer, but Stevens and Dyer combine, and Stevens comes through the back of Dyer, wins it well. Baker now on the near side, into the feet of Rudd, and Rudd flicks it on, but only to Somerville, and Somerville looks to try and get this game moving. We've played 42 minutes here of an even first half. It's 0-0. Johnny Dyer in a bit of space, flicks the ball on for Ed Smith, but Stevens is underneath it, and Ed Smith picks it up, edge of the box.
He's on his own, though. He's got no one up there with him, John, and it's Steve Perkins, who's his ex-teammate, has come along and cleared it out for a throw-in. Guy Hollis is staying back, so it's going to be Fraser to take it. So an attacking throw, touched by Dobson, headed back by Short. Dobson again, but now Price will have the opportunity to clear. Price hooks it back, and now Dobson's on his bike trying to cover him off. And Fraser does well to just hold up momentum. Bateman now on halfway in the centre of the pitch, passes it out right to Tomlin, and Tomlin out on the right, just having a run at George Short and Ben Ed, and Ben Ed gets turned there well by Tomlin, who's coming inside, flicks the ball in the direction of Hall. Hall goes for the 1-2, but miscontrols it. Simpson takes it off him, and Slough will have the opportunity to come back with the ball. Hall hasn't given it up, and he's battling well there. Finds it back to Bateman on halfway. Bateman up to Simpson, but Simpson wins off Simpson's head, and now Hall tries to take a touch, and it's bubbling around, bounces into Hall's hand, and it's a handball, quite harsh. Gave it a little bit of a pat forward, and now Somerville will have an opportunity to set Slough on a final attack of the. Sums the game up, that, John. It's very bitty play from both teams at the moment.
long clearance up, which Perkins wins, and now Rudd on the ball with Harris once again closing down. Baker, long ball in the direction of Hall and Simpson heads the ball back for Guy Hollis. A little bit of a breakdown of communication. Hall has another touch, but Simpson does well, covers his mistake.
Does well there, Simpson.
But only finds Simpson, and Simpson on halfway line, but has his pocket picked by Dobson, and Dobson now turns on his bike. Ball bobbled just as he cleared it, and it is... There's nothing wrong, I'm being told, with the pitch. It didn't bobble, it was my eyes. And
it's flat as a pancake.
He shinned it through to the goalkeeper, Witherall. And we're through to the final couple of minutes of this first half. We're in the final minutes of normal time as the ball's long through to Hall, and Simpson seemed to go through the back of him there, but nothing doing. Price now has an opportunity to the ball, and the ball bobbled up, hit Hollis. He couldn't have done much about that, but it was a handball.
It would have stopped the ball going past him.
It's a free kick to Aylesbury, which they look to take
Price.
quickly. Hooked out left to Rudd, and Rudd will have an opportunity to get the ball in the box. Left-footed chip, and it's a cross, and it's gone over Somerville's head. It was an attempted cross, and Aylesbury take the lead a little bit against the run of play. After 44 minutes, Rudd with a cross shot.
It was a cross that was aiming for the back post. Somerville's misjudged it, and it's just creeped in at the top corner. You see these often enough in the games of football, and Jake's got to take a bit of responsibility though. He watched that. He didn't even go for it. 1-0 to Aylesbury.
Yeah, 1-0 to Aylesbury against the run of play. So it'll be interesting to see how this comes out. Now I understand it's still 0-0 at Daventry, but at the moment Slough would be sitting. Slough would still be just sitting in the playoffs on goal difference based upon the rugby game as we are. But Slough will need to come back to that as we go into the final minute of the half. We're in injury time as the ball's bobbling through, and Baker clears the ball up to halfway. Short now takes a touch. He's going to pass it out short to Fraser. Fraser, simple touch. Didn't quite listen, and then Stevens picks the ball up inside his own box. Will have an opportunity to take his time, not being pressed particularly fast by Ed Smith, and clears the ball up over halfway with Hollis heads the ball clear, and now Bateman falls on it halfway, and McClare comes, picks his pocket as well, wins the ball, and Edwards in a more usual centre midfield position tries to play the pass through to Dobson, but gets cut out by Thompson, and now Aylesbury with their tails up, playing the ball through to Price, and Price with Simpson in advance plays the ball through, and hooked up the line away by Fraser. Now Harris has an opportunity to have a run, and Price did well to hold the ball up and just buffeted to the ground by Harris, and it was a cheap free kick to give away.
The locals didn't like that tackle by Warren Harris there, but
He owns you 10, didn't he?
and the drum, which had been silenced for the first 45 minutes, has now come back into life a little bit as we are in the 47th minute here. Slough team talk will have probably changed quite a lot in the last minute or so, as long clearance taken by Baker, and it's straight through to Somerville. Somerville takes control, but that goal coming so close to half-time, which was no danger apparently at all, from a soft cross that, as it looked to be coming in from Rudd, and it just found the corner of the goal, almost a little bit like Ronaldinho against Seaman, but it wasn't a meant shot, as Somerville once again on the ball clears off the deck up in the direction of Harris, and Harris takes a touch. It's a heavy touch though. He hasn't had the best of halves, I don't think.
no, when he's got the ball in that final third, he's been better, but he's not working back. He's not tracking back and doing the other bits that he normally does every game.
Baker throws the ball up the line in the direction of Hall. Hall flicks it inside after Price, and now Somerville comes out quickly, takes the ball, and playing with any additional time here. The referee looks at his watch again. Have we had enough of this first half? We're just going to see, but no, he's still playing on a little bit. Long kick up in the direction. Ed Smith flicks it on. Johnny Dyer in. Johnny Dyer, first time shot, stuffs it, and that was a great opportunity. He had a bit more time than he thought there.
Great flick on by Ed Smith, and it's come to Dyer, and he's snatched at it, and it's only just literally gone out for a goal kick. It's that close to the corner flag.
And once again, Witherall not in a hurry to take this, and I think Slough will be a little bit unhappy with how this has gone.
The referee's just told him to hurry up, and all he's done is he's rolled the ball into the box, and now he's just slightly jogging to go and get the ball. Not exactly hurrying him up much at all. So,
just a reminder, we are in added time here. Aylesbury lead 1-0. A goal from Jamie Rudd in the 44th, 45th minute. A cross shot that found the far corner as the clearance comes out from Witherall finally, and Short heads the ball out of play. There's not an awful lot of balls there, and Underwood quick to try and give the ball back to Tomlin to get this moving. There's a degree of frustration I can feel on the Slough bench over there, as a lot of the teams just seem to had their heads dropped as Aylesbury again attacking to the end, and Lamar Simpson into the right hand edge of the box, pass it in the direction of Hall, but cut out by Simpson. Simpson chips the ball upfield, and McClure picks it up, tries to pass it back to Dobson. Dobson now to heads it down, and Johnny Dyer loses
tackle by Ben Bateman.
But now Stevens and Baker miscommunicate, and there's an opportunity for Slough to have one final attack in the first half as Fraser sprints forward to take a throw in, looks for Johnny Dyer's feet. Johnny Dyer takes it well, controls it, passes it back to Fraser. Fraser will now drive and cross it into the box, but there's no one in there.
Corner. We've got time for the corner. It's
time for the corner. This is it. The locals are getting a little bit restless as Slough may have an opportunity to snatch an equaliser on the brink of half time. We've played almost 49 minutes here at Aylesbury. Aylesbury lead 1-0. At half time, you'll be able to hear the post-rugby interview with John Underwood and reflect on what's been as the corner comes in. Headed straight back out, but that's half time. The referee's blown his whistle. So quite an even at half, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, when Slough seemed to be getting on top, that a goal by Rudd.
Yeah, it was the only real effort that has been on target for Aylesbury, and it wasn't really a shot, but it's counts and Slough are behind, and something needs to happen at half time with a team talk to get the Rebels playing their normal way.
Well, we'll be back in about 5-10 minutes to give you an update on the second half and some of the other scores, but let's hope for a better second half. We wish you all well, and we'll speak to you soon.
Good evening and welcome to Rebels Radio latest interview. I'm once again joined by John Underwood.
Evening, John.
We are reflecting on a defeat a few hours ago at home to Rugby. Let's start by talking about the team selection. Obviously, Simpson came in for Woosley, who was unavailable. The only change, were you happy going into the game with the team?
Yeah, I mean, we played very, very well, obviously, at Ashford last week. Woos was unavailable, so yeah, it was a straight swap. Dan coming in at centre-back, so it was a fairly straightforward team selection from us. And I think we spoke before about Guy. Guy's captained us before, so it was again, quite an easy decision for us to make.
And Rugby came in and did a little bit what commonly we've talked about Slough doing to other teams before. They had a really bright start. Towers was particularly lively down the right, hit the bar after only a few minutes. Somerville on a number of occasions was called in. Was it them being good, or were we slightly off it?
I think you've got to give credit to them. I thought they played very well today. For whatever reason, we weren't at the levels that we have been for a while now. I mean, we've been on a fantastic run. But you're right, we never really got going at the start, and they did start well. I mean, Jake Somerville was outstanding first half. I think if it wasn't for him, we'd have certainly gone behind before we scored, and it could have been a very different game. No, I mean, Jake was fantastic today, but yeah, we looked a little bit sluggish, a little bit on the back foot. They looked a little bit brighter than we did, which obviously was disappointing for us.
And Lake Gaskin seemed to be kind of dropping deep, picking up the ball in that gap, almost between kind of where the midfield, where McClurg and Short were sitting, and seeming to kind of get in and amongst it and get a lot of the ball early on.
Yeah, he's a good player. I know when we spoke in the preview, we talked about the front two. We're very aware of how good they are, and they played very well today. One thing they don't have is not the biggest of front players, but I thought even where that was concerned, I thought they put themselves about. They never made it easy for our centre halves, and yeah, they both played very well today. And like I said, they deserved to win the game.
They seemed, say, kind of just to have that edge, and in the 50-50s, Slough were coming off second best. It almost seemed like Rugby wanted a little bit more.
Yeah, I can see how it looked like that. I mean, I can only tell you, this is so important to all of us in the changing room, and if you'd have seen us it's not, as I say, it's not about desire. It's not about wanting to win. Those boys were desperate to win.
Yeah, it wasn't the intention of anyone to go in and put a poor performance. I don't think any player would want to go out there in a Slough jersey and not play well.
No, exactly. We just had a bad day.
And it started off a little bit difficult with obviously Ryan Parsons getting injured in the 17th minute, and there wasn't unfortunately that much defensive cover on the bench, which meant that Dobbo came in at left back, which was I think a challenge.
Yeah, we were a little bit light defensively on the bench. I mean, Dobbo's played left back before. And with his pace and obviously the pace of Towers, we decided to drop him in there and just bring Jake on in front of him. And I think Dobbo's he's played there, but I think he's not played there for a while. Certainly not recently, and it's difficult. It's a different game. It's a very different game, and I thought positionally at times he just got caught out a little bit, and that's not a criticism. He was doing a job for us, and he gave 100% as he has every time he's played for us. But it wasn't ideal to have to drop him in at left back. No. And yeah, that affected us. That certainly didn't help, because Ryan Parsons is a big player for us.
Yeah, and chances were slightly few and far between to what Slough Towns are used to. But then when there was a chance, boy, did Jamie McClure take it. What a great goal that was. Yeah,
it was a fantastic strike. I've seen him do it once before. He did it for us last season at Godalming. Similar strike, keeper off his line. Great technique to hit it like that. And I mean, to be fair, at that point, I don't think we deserved to go. We'd had a good chance with Warren Harris, got in. Keeper made a brilliant save, and then he saved the rebound from Dobson as well. That was our best chance. It was a good chance. But yeah, I think it would be unfair to say we deserved the lead at that point. But we would, at that stage, we'd take a goal however it came, and it was a great strike.
And then off for half time, it seemed like Rugby were having a couple of questions asked of the ref. I think it was Richard Blythe and one of the management team were kind of confronting the referee at half time. Do you know what that was about?
I don't know. Someone said to me that they thought there was a foul on the keeper in the build-up to Jamie's goal. I honestly didn't see it if it was. So it may have been that. I can't think what else it would be.
No, the only other thing I could have thought was perhaps if in one of those goalmouth scrambles when Somerville did amazingly well to keep it off the right side of the line, whether there was any contact in between players in the box, whether they saw it differently to the referee.
Yeah, not sure.
So what did you say at half-time then?
I think, the lads weren't happy at half-time with how we'd been playing. We tried to kind of draw a line under the half in terms of our performance, because it hadn't been at the levels that we're used to. I think we said we got we're lucky we're in front. Probably. I don't think they were miles better than us first half. I thought I thought they probably had the better chances, and Jake, as I said, at times kept us in it. We just talked about it being a huge 45 minutes in our season, and that they had to fight for everything. We pointed out a couple of dangers that we felt they were getting at us, and we talked about that. We wanted us to show a little bit more composure on the ball. Sometimes when you're not playing well and you're under a bit of pressure, when you win the ball, you're then too hurried to get it away, and rather than relax on the ball. And I just felt we could have talked better at times and shown a little bit more composure when we actually had time. And we didn't pass it as well as we can today. That was clear.
No. And then the second half kind of continued in the same vein as the first half. Rugby were quite dominant, and then they actually made most of it. Somerville was helpless on the first goal, a great free from Kolodinsky, and then his partner in crime, Lake Gaskin, got in on the action as well after 60 minutes. So 2 goals in 5 minutes really changed the momentum of the game. Yeah, the first one,
I mean, I've not had a chance to see it obviously, but just from what I remember, the first one, I don't think I could really single anyone out. It was a bit of an opportunist strike, really, a little clever flick from him. That's what he does. The second one was very disappointing. It was one big kick from the keeper who'd been kicking well all game, and he got in behind. Lake Gaskin got in behind. He took a brilliant touch and it was a great finish, but he shouldn't be getting in off one straight keeper's kick like that. And it wasn't down to Jake. I think you've got to look at the centre halves there, and we got caught underneath the ball, and that was a very, very avoidable goal, which was obviously disappointing to concede.
And then conceding and going a goal behind, did you anticipate a response?
You'd like to think so, yeah. I mean, we've got character in our team, and I think there was still plenty of time at that point. At that point, a draw's not a bad result for us, and the message was, stay in the game and see if we can get one. We've always got goals in us. We've scored 99 goals now this season. We know, he says the keeper made a meal of it. It's one of those. Like I say, I'm not going to criticise him because I didn't see it myself. It came at a crucial time in the game, and it gave us a real tough mountain to climb. In fact, Johnny had just picked up a knock, so we ended up losing both of our forwards in the same minute. And obviously Adam had to go up there on his own. We got Warren up to support him, but you know, they were the better side 11v11, so 11v10 it was always going to be tough. And again, the message was, let's stay in the game. You know, we tried to use every chance we could to throw a ball in, whether it be a throw-in or a free kick, and just hope that something would fall for us. And it didn't. You know, it wasn't our day, and they got the win they deserved.
And going back just quickly to the sending off, obviously that then means that Ed potentially would be suspended for the player final if there was ifs. That's got to be a little bit of a disappointment. Are you going to be reviewing potentially any video that the cameraman took to appeal it or anything like that? Yeah,
we'll definitely have a look. Gut feel is that knowing where the camera is and where the incident was, I think it's going to be very difficult. If he is innocent, it's going to be very difficult to prove that. You know, you've got to be really clear on these things on a camera. So, obviously we'll have a look at it, and if there's, you know, if there is a case there, we'll go with it. But I think the chances are slim. Just thinking about the angle he would have had, I think it's going to look like he put his foot in, which I understand he did. The keeper was obviously delaying picking the ball up, as goalkeepers do, and they're entitled to do. And you know, and it's going to be very hard to see whether Eddie caught him or not.
So, moving forward now, what's the latest injury situation?
I mean, Ryan Parsons has kind of tweaked a hamstring. We don't know how serious that is. I mean, he'll have no chance for Monday. Hoping it's not too serious, but, you know, I guess best case is, you know, I think he'd struggle for next Saturday. We've got to get ourselves in the playoffs, and then maybe for the playoff semi, but we'll have to monitor how he is over the next few days. Johnny came off with a knock. I think he had a little pull in his, I think it was in his thigh area, so I know Kev was seeing him. They're the two, obviously they're the two. Ryan will definitely be out. We're hoping Johnny will be okay for Monday. Obviously, if he's not, we've got Adam Cornell, so we've got a ready-made replacement. So everybody else should be fine. We've already organised, obviously Ben Edwards will be available Monday, so Ben will come into the squad. And we've also got Wes Harrison, who we kept his registration. Obviously he's not been playing, but Wes is going to come back into the squad for Monday as well. So we'll have an extra defender in the squad. And yeah, we'll just see how the lads are. We'll talk to a few of them tomorrow, and we'll go ahead and pick a team. We've got to pick ourselves up now because, you know, as I said, we've been on an incredible run. All we've done today is lost a game of football against a very good side. We can't feel sorry for ourselves. You know, come Monday night we could be in the playoffs if we win at Aylesbury and Rugby beat Barton. It's all ifs, but those two results aren't out.
Yep.
Hello.
You're back. Go.
We're good.
Well, take us through the teams.
We've got for Aylesbury in goal James Wetherell. 2 is Rob Tomlin. 3 Connor Baker. 4 is now Ben Bateman replacing Sam Bateman. 5 is Steve Perkins captain. 6 Ben Stevens. 7 Jamie Rudd the goal scorer. 8 Kevin Mellor. 14 is Gareth Price. 10 is Brian Hall. Lamar Simpson wears 11. And the subs for Aylesbury: Fraser McLachlan, Jacob Lowe, Greg Copcutt and Derek Fahey.
And the Slough team, please.
Is in goal Jake Summerville. 2 Sean Fraser. 3 Ben Edwards. 4 Guy Hollis and captain. 5 is Daniel Simpson. 6 George Short. 7 Johnny Dyer. 8 James McClurg. 9 Ed Smith. 10 Warren Harris. 11 James Dobson. And subs for Slough is 12 Wes Harrison, 14 Jake Parsons. 15 Gareth Risbridger. 16 Sebastian Costello. And 18 is Adam Cornell.
And the referee is Paul Howard, who's had quite a good half, I suppose. You're not missing any action. The players are just feeling one another out, as it were, in the start of the second half, as Fraser comes over halfway, clips the ball up high, and Harris on the far side will get it under control. Slough, dressed all in purple, shooting from right to left this half. Aylesbury, as you may be able to hear, shooting from left to right in red shirt, black sleeves, black shorts and red socks. Bennett just wins a header, playing left back, flips out to Dobbo. Dobbo turns but miscontrols it, and the long clearance from Perkins, which Simpton's underneath. And Simpton comes through and wins, flicks it up to Dobson on the near side, and Dobson has a couple of touches, just overruns it, and I think he may have run it out. The linesman's given it out, and down to our right, under the covered area, you can hear all the Aylesbury fans with a drum, certainly adding a bit of atmosphere.
Yeah, he's got a bit of rhythm to himself there.
Some of the other half times: Ashford 0, Egham 0, Aylesbury 1, Slough 0. Beaconsfield 1, Aylesbury United 0, Chalfont 2, Marlow 1, Chertsey 0, AFC Hayes 2, Kettering 0, Daventry 0, Luton 0, Dunstable 3, Northwood 0, Potters Bar 2, Royston 1, St Ives 2, Rugby 1, Barton 0, and Uxbridge 3, North Greenford United 1. And what does that mean? As Rudd has an opportunity to break down the left, Fraser in pursuit, cuts back inside towards the edge of the box, passes it to Price, who comes up against Simpson. Left-footed shot from the edge of the box, palmed out, palmed by Somerville, but only as far as Hall and Aylesbury take a 2-goal lead 2 minutes into the second half, and that is not what Slough wanted.
Not the start to the second half that they wanted there. You would have thought they would have come out with a bit of a going over from the managers, but they've started sluggishly there. The ball was played to Jamie Rudd, who was the goal scorer. He's played it through to Gareth Price. He's turned down Simpson, fired it in low. Jake Somerville's put a hand to it, but he's just put it into the path of Brian Hall, who's put it into an empty net. So 2-0 to Aylesbury, and that's going to affect our playoff chances today.
So, Slough have got the worst possible start here to this second half, and Slough will be really trying to fire themselves up now, but Hall in the 47th minute gives Aylesbury a 2-goal lead. As Warren Harris now takes the ball on the far side, kicks a bottle away in frustration as he miscontrols it, and the Aylesbury drums and their 12 young fans behind the goal are giving it some noise.
12 young moles. I don't know what young moles are called, but
I don't know what the name for a young mole is, but they're having a disco. They're having some good banter. They're doing some of the Man City backward dancing. As if you're just joining us, the second half's just underway. A fairly even first half. As Price beats Ben Edwards to the ball, and then he seems to hold Price down. And Simpson does well, cuts the ball back inside, clears the ball long up in the direction of Johnny Dyer, who's backing into Perkins. But the ball came off Johnny Dyer's back, but the throw's been awarded in his favour. And now Dobson will look to fire a throw in. Johnny Dyer making a quick run down into the corner. Ball thrown by Dobson, back to Dobson now from Dyer. Dobson right-footed towards the far post. Harris now after it with Baker in pursuit. Harris gives that up as it's too far, and Baker will have the throw. And Aylesbury won't it be in any time. And Unders is screaming his head off. You can hear him from here.
Yeah, he's having a go at George Short there, telling him to come over. The ball's on a throw-in for Aylesbury on the far side, and George Short ambled over to get to the ball, and he's been told to hurry up and get into position quickly.
And the Aylesbury fans break into a chant of "Can we play you every week?" as Ben Edwards is played in by George Short, just inside the Aylesbury half on this near side, on the left side, as he looks for the ball, passes it up to Johnny Dyer. Johnny Dyer flicks it over, but not on the same wavelength Ed Smith, and the ball goes harmlessly through to Wetherill, who's got the ball in his hands, down in his green kit on the left-hand edge of his box, throws the ball out, and Johnny Dyer runs down, closes him down, and he clips the ball up to the left, and Ben Ed's up underneath it. Price wins it with his shoulder, and Price certainly battling around there. He's certainly feisty, isn't he, Price?
He's feisty. He's jumped in there. He's won the ball, claiming a free kick fouled off Ben Edwards, but he's putting himself around. He's working really hard for his team.
And Ben Ed has just taken the throw down the line, but cleared well and hard by Tomlin. And now Ben Edwards has another opportunity. Left-footed hook up in the direction of Ed Smith, but Perkins underneath it. Perkins heads it up and battling in midfield now, and Short gets it under control. And the attendance is 387, a really good attendance, 387 on Bank Holiday Monday. Final home game of the season as a heavy touch there by Price. Did well because he was in there behind Ben Edwards, and a heavy touch took him through, but Somerville came out quickly, smothered the opportunity, and quickly sets Warren Harris on his way. Johnny Dyer chests it down to him, and Warren Harris battling up there against the goal scorer Rudd, but Rudd comes off Besson. Now Lamar Simpson on halfway up against Ben Ed. Hall takes over. Hall chips the ball, a reverse pass back to Lamar Simpson, but Somerville comes out well, clears the ball in the air.
Sloppy play by Slough. They're not getting their foot in at all. They're allowing Aylesbury to come and run at them. And
Egham have taken the lead at Ashford. That could be curtains for their survival hopes this season, depending on other results. And now Ed Smith over halfway, picks up the ball, got a little bit of time, pass it to McClurg, who's under pressure from Hall, but McClurg out to Dobson. Nice little 1-2, but McClurg facing back to his own goal. Turns, plenty of time, picks a pass towards Harris, and it's a great ball, but Baker stretches to head the ball up, and Rudd just takes a touch, and once again a second touch, and Hall's after it, but Simpson is battling with Simpson almost got himself in trouble as Simpson had a little bit of confusion there with Somerville. No one took control there.
Slough causing all the problems by themselves.
And the locals are making it sound as if Slough are a bit of a comedy act, and at the moment you might have to agree in certain times, as Dobson gets the ball thrown to him almost immediately in front of him. Takes a bit of time, but a long ball in the direction of Warren Harris, and Warren Harris is in. He takes a touch, but headed off by Baker for a corner. Danger averted, and Slough have the opportunity to come back into this game. They trail by 2 goals. Beaconsfield 2, Aylesbury United 0.
Slough needs something to give the fans to get them behind. They're very quiet behind the goal at the moment. They're all just standing there waiting for something to happen.
No, and I think the fans also have a responsibility. They need to try and kind of lift the players as well in this, because it's quite a small Aylesbury following of fans here, but they're making much more noise than the Slough fans. As the ball corner comes in, well taken by Wetherall, who looks to quickly send Price on his way. Price touches it on halfway line, but Fraser's there, comes in, clips the ball up front, and well won there by Aylesbury away, and cleared it up to halfway, and Simpson takes a touch, and Short now having a battle in there with Mellor, and Mellor hooks the ball free, and Price now battling with Fraser, and Price holding the ball up well, and Fraser takes it off Price, and now McClurg flicks it forward, wins the first ball. He's trying to chase around everywhere, but Mellor does well again and wins the ball, and now Lamar Simpson tries to beat Ben Edwards, and Ben Edwards does well, and Ben Edwards is now having a bit of afterwards, and he just seemed to forearm him a little bit in there. And the referee's now just having a bit of an arm up there by Hall there. Yeah, right, I don't think it was intentional, but he certainly, Ben Edwards is coming over and have words. So Hall and Ben Edwards in front of the referee. I think there might be some bookings here. Potentially the referee's just having a little word with them, almost 10 yards in front of us. He's just trying to explain his position. I think he's explaining himself quite well. Yeah, it's good refereeing, because he's not trying to flash the card out like some referees do. Giving them both for talking to. They've shaken hands, and then they go back into their positions. I don't think there was any bookings in the first half, also, that I can remember. Not at all. No, so it's been quite a feisty game, but no, he's controlled it quite well at the moment. I'm not sure all fans would agree with it, but Aylesbury have the opportunity. Clear it in the box. Stevens delivers it towards the far post, flicked by Simpson, and it may roll out for a throw into Aylesbury, but Baker goes to collect it under pressure from Hollis in the far corner up against the corner flag, and Hollis thinks he's played it off Baker, but the referee has awarded the throw to Aylesbury, and Aylesbury still pressing here. They lead by 2 goals 10 minutes into the second half. Slough trailing by 2 goals. Yeah, Slough have got Ryan Parsons, Wes Harrison and Adam Cornell warming up down the side. I don't think it's Ryan Parsons. I would hope it's Jake. I think Ryan's probably still injured. But there are substitutes warming up. They need to make some changes. Baker down the left tries to play a ball through, and Slough in a hurry to get on with this game now as they trail 2-0. Somerville takes the kick long, and it's flicked on by it came off obviously in Aylesbury head, and it'll be an attacking Slough throw, and Hollis is making his way forward to do the. But you can see the problem there, John. The ball was played forward quickly, and there was 3 up front for Slough, but the midfield weren't helping out. So as soon as the ball's headed back, it's falling into the hands of an Aylesbury player. Sorry. Played about 10 minutes of the second half, so flicked into the long flow, flicked in by Dobson, and it's bobbling around in there, but cleared long by and McClure comes in, heads it deep, and it's just been flicked off by Tomlin, and Tomlin's now shutting down Ed Smith in the near corner. Ed Smith tries to come inside, short ball to Dobson. Dobson, it bobbled just before he hit it, and now Ed Smith's again interested, but tries to lever Tomlin off the ball. And Ed Smith now has his pocket picked, I think. He seemed to get pulled back, but the referee's not doing there, and Simpson's going to have the opportunity to pass the ball away to Price, and Price flicks it well with his left foot, leaves Ben Edwards for death, and now it's 3-on-2 for Aylesbury. Tries to hit the ball, Price tries to cross the ball, but clears it off Fraser, and now Simpson tries to nutmeg a bit short, but it's unfortunate there. He's done really well to get the ball, but he's wasted it by hitting it straight at Sean Fraser. And now Dobson has the opportunity to attack deep in the Aylesbury half. Drives the ball across, headed well clear by Perkins, and it will be a corner to Slough Town. We have played 11 minutes of the second half. Aylesbury 2, Slough 0. Not the result they want, but at the moment, not a disaster. No, still no noise from the Slough Town fans, just patiently standing behind the goal. The only fans get behind the team now. Yes, Dobson with an out-swinging corner from the left-hand side. Movement in the box at the moment as we just await this ball in. The ball in towards the far post, but safely in the keeper's hand, too close to Wetherall, and Wetherall falls to the ground, just uses up a bit more of the clock, and the Slough fans are getting a little bit restless here. They're very, very silent. They're sitting almost stony-faced, and this is the sort of opportunity where you need them to be your 12th man, as the ball's kicked clear by Wetherall. and Ben Edwards underneath it, and Ben Edwards jumped into there by Hall, but it falls to Price, and Price now up against Simpson, and Simpson, and ball all the way across, and Rudd will have an opportunity to shoot, and Rudd makes it 3-0 to Aylesbury with his left foot, his second goal of his second goal in the 56th minute.
All one-way traffic, I'm afraid, at the moment there. Ball was broken through. Price played it into Hall. He played it back across the goal. Price missed it, and it was Jamie Rudd's second goal of the game. He smacked it far into that top corner, giving Jake no chance.
Slough were caught there with players forward, and there's plenty of talking going on there because they're not very happy with the challenge. And Bennett's going to have words. It looks like with Hall, he's not at all happy that he felt he got elbowed.
He did get a kind of like slap in the face when he jumped for the ball, but he's arguing it too much.
Now the skipper Hollis and Bennett are over with the referee, just testing his patience a little bit here because they feel that they've been hard done by, but they broke very well. And as Price and Hall combined down this right side, ball got crossed all the way across, and it fell to Rudd, who thumped the ball into the top corner. A good finish, but Slough trailing 3-0, and it will have to be an awful. And
they don't look like getting back into the game at all, John. And I can see some movement on the Slough bench. It's Adam Cornell coming on for George Short. So 3 strikers for Slough, but the problem with that goal there was when Ben Edwards thought he got caught in the face, he stopped and didn't run back, and it left us short at the back. Got to play to the whistle.
So, that's early substitution made. Now McClurg just making his point. I don't think the Slough fans are terribly happy with how this has turned out. And they're just having a word again with Mr. Howard, who in most conditions hasn't done anything wrong. But it'll be interesting to see on the video how those 2 challenges looked, because I know...
Come on, I didn't come to watch
this is the problem though, John, is there's no one out there trying to encourage. All they're doing now is just complaining to the referee. They've got to get behind the team. Someone's got to lead on this pitch. And at the moment, it's not happening.
And almost like the poetic fallacy, the weather's closing in a little bit here. The sun's gone, and I think before the end of the game, there may be a thunderstorm or some rain coming down, which will reflect the mood of Slough. The ball's bounced through to Somerville, and Slough need some urgency in this. They've played 58 minutes here at Hayward's Way, and Slough are desperate to get on the score sheet, and they've awarded a free kick on the edge of the box against Johnny Dyer.
Gave him the look of an evil man to the referee.
Johnny Dyer,
and then realised the free kick was actually to
Johnny Dyer and Stevens looking at each other, not quite sure what was going on, face to face, and the referee has got a challenging 10 minutes, I would say, ahead of him here.
Yeah, Slough got to get something out of this opportunity here. It's a free kick just outside the box, just level with the D. Just on the right-hand side, left-footed James Dobson's going to take it. They need to get something from this opportunity if they're going to get back into this game.
And I think we need to know shortly if this roof leaks, because we might be under it otherwise. As Dobson, free kick, right-hand edge of the D, about 5 yards outside the box, lining up in his yellow boots. There's a wall of 5 men. He just runs up, strikes it low, straight into the bottom of the wall, and that kind of sums up Slough's matches out. They're put under quite a lot of pressure quite early on, but immediately, and Dobson went down quite quickly and easily there, and the ball was then kicked away, and the referee just having a little look here. I think this might be the first booking, and I think it's for kicking the ball away, which seems stupid.
It was a silly idea. I mean, James Dobson's gone down very easy there, and I think it's Ben Stevens, who's been quite exceptional at the back today. He's the one that's kicking the ball away.
So the first booking in the 60th minute. For kicking
he doesn't need to do it, John, because they're 3-0 up.
You're 3-0 up and you're a centre-back. You shouldn't be doing that sort of thing. It just seems a bit silly to get a booking after the 60 minutes. And he kicked the ball away stupidly, and unfortunately... Keeper came out, punched the ball from an in-swinging dangerous, and Slough need to really make one of these chances count. They're coming back into this game, but they've been hit too easily by lapsed defending. Yeah,
Dobson's got a third corner of the half here, and he needs to do something better with it. The last 2 have been straight to the back post, right into the goalkeeper's arm, so something a little bit better.
Apologies for wherever you're listening, but we can't bring you good news as the ball's fired into the back post. It's bobbling around in the area. It seemed to bounce up and hit hands. There's some Slough fans are appealing. It looked like it hit Warren Harris's hand as Baker comes away with the ball in left back position for Aylesbury. They'll again be having to attack. And Price then up against Fraser, but Fraser wins the ball well. But again, it's bouncing around, and Cornell flicks it on to Dyer in the middle. Dyer tries to flick the ball clear up against Stevens, and there's a little bit going on off the ball there between.
And he's giving it the other way, and it's Stevens again who's just got the yellow card.
Stephen might need to be watching himself here. He doesn't. I know that was a poor decision, but he can't say anything here. Otherwise, it would do his side no favours if he went down to.
It's
10
getting a bit busy now. Everyone's trying to surround the referee with their ideas.
And the referee's called him over. Let's hope.
He's let him go.
And
he's just going to have a word with his linesman just to see what it was that was going on.
Yeah, the linesman's me were called into question, and the referee's just going over. And I think if he books Johnny Dyer, I think he might well have to book Stevens, and that might then be the end of his afternoon. So this could be a key moment. Oh, the captain's getting called over. And who else? We are just waiting to see who else is being called over.
No, it's just Steve Perkins. I think he's just giving him a word, telling him to calm down.
And he's still calling a player across. He's calling across Stevens. And it will be interesting to see if it is booked here. It could be a pivotal moment in the game. I think he might have said something that he shouldn't have done, and the referee say maybe stomping his authority. But we're just waiting to see. He's had a long chat with Perkins.
He's going to his card. Here's the second yellow card.
2 yellow cards in the space of 2 minutes here, and Aylesbury are reduced to 10.
He's not happy about that. He's arguing the decision, Ben Stevens.
And booked in the 62nd and 60 seconds. So sent off.
He's not leaving the pitch. He's arguing the facts.
So there'll need to be.
And it's a stupid thing for him to do, John, because, like we say, they're 3-0 up. They're cruising this game. And why does he need to do it?
Especially kicking the ball away seems such a stupid way of getting a booking. Why kick the ball away? The referee's got no alternative. It's.
You can hear some of the Aylesbury fans not happy with the decision.
But Stevens has been playing very well during this game, and he's still making his way off the pitch. Dobson will have the opportunity to swing this in, and it'll be interesting to see how Aylesbury regroup and who they bring off the bench as a likely replacement.
If they do, they've got several players there. Connor Baker, who's played well at left back, could easily fit in as a centre back. But again, it's another free kick to Slough.
And they were some of the softest challenges in this game, I would say. And it just seems a ridiculous way.
Itsy-bitsy, wasn't it, John? It was just like the two of them clashed and
clipped in towards the far post. Headed almost an own goal there from Perkins. He did well to connect, but headed it thankfully inches over his own bar.
If we'd have been playing in yellow, he would have scored that.
I think he'd have headed it a lot further over the bar. But Slough now, with potentially their tails up. We have played 20 minutes of this second half. Aylesbury down to 10 men, but leading 3-0. Dobson curves the ball in towards the far post, overhits it, I think. And once again, it may be a corner, but the keeper's holding it up. And Ed Smith goes into the keeper. And now the Aylesbury fans and players are calling for Ed Smith's blood. There wasn't an awful lot in there. I think they just clashed.
No, but it's the same kind of thing. It's just the law. You can't take the ball away. You can do challenges.
I'm having arguments here with local fans on air. With you upsetting rugby fans.
It's much better than actually watching the game, actually.
I know, well, there's a bit more banter flying around. We'll have to see what goes on. As Simpton now up against Hall. Simpton clatters Hall, and Hall gets one. Hall wears one for the first time, and Simpton's
and the
hurt
referee
himself.
Doesn't know whether to play on.
The referee's coming and going as Price is attacking down the far side, and Price has put the ball out. The referee didn't know whether he's coming or going. Simpton seemed to have a hip injury. Hall had a head injury, and now Hall's holding his hip.
Come on, Rob.
And the ball's now out in the far right-hand corner.
But Slough looking very lacklustre, John. There's no desire at all out there.
No, the two Slough managers holding their hands on hips as Tomlin comes into the box, plays it into Simpson. Nice flip back to Tomlin. Tomlin in on goal. Passes it into the keeper, and that could have been 4. Thankfully for Slough it wasn't. And Somerville races upfield and throws the ball out to Harris. And it looks like the change at the back has been that Miller's dropped into centre back for Aylesbury United as the ball bounces. High ball in, and once again, well held under pressure by Wetherill. Wetherill does very well and holds the ball up, and is just now look to calm down, and they're looking to just waste a little bit of time here.
Weatherall's done well on the high crosses in today, John.
And he clears the ball long, but there's no Aylesbury player underneath that. And Hollis heads the ball back. Cornell now up against Mellor, and now flicked forward by Rudd, but Simpson returns. And now Simpson, McClurg hooks the ball forward to Cornell. Cornell flicks it on the direction and headed well back by Perkins. And it may well be that Perkins is a busy player for the next 20-25 minutes.
Yeah, he's an experienced head though, John. He's seen it all before.
Whether it wants to go again with the ball at his feet, clips the ball up. Price underneath it, great first touch, turns, hooks it into space, but no Aylesbury player there. And Somerville has it on the deck, and Somerville clears the ball off the floor, up in the direction of, they're playing very direct now, Slough, but Mellor underneath it. Ben Ed, who's now gone forward. It looks like Slough have changed to playing 3 at the back and 5 in midfield. Ben Ed seems to have gone to more advanced, and it looks like, is the injured player Bateman? No.
It's Rudd,
the goal scorer of 2 goals. Both one a cracking finish, one slightly fortuitous, is down and injured. I'm getting stared at that first thing.
Fortuitous for that first goal.
Suggesting that first goal was fortuitous. He's the Aylesbury Ronaldinho.
It's very similar to a goal that Josias Carbon scored for Slough in the Bryco Cup final in 2005. Bit further out for that one, but it was supposed to be a cross, gone into the top corner. You got to take those, John.
You have, and there's a change. Dobson's coming off, and Jake Parsons is coming on. We in the 23rd minute of the second half, so we've played 68. Slough trail 3-0, and Dobson is coming off. And Jake Parsons is coming on. So
it's unusual, John, this season for Slough to be
lacklustre.
This not only lacklustre, but this far behind. Normally they're strong defensively. Obviously they're missing Dave Woosley and Adam Fowler, and it can show that there's no telepathy or any kind of communication between Hollis and Dan Simpson.
Yeah, and this would be, I believe, that if it stays as it is, it would be the biggest defeat they've had. They lost by 2 goals at Kettering Egerman at home and at home against Beaconsfield, but they haven't lost by 3. As Price has a little battle at Hollis, has a little nibble, and Hollis chips the ball up the line, has Johnny Dyer up against chasing Perkins, and Perkins, no nonsense, clears the ball out, gives Slough an opportunity.
The only other loss this season of 3-0 was at home to Wickham.
In
the Berks and Bucks Cup.
Yeah. So it's a throw on the left-hand side, back to Simpson. Simpson now got opportunity, time to take a touch, clip it into the far side of the box. Warren Harris is after it. Warren Harris heads it down across goal. Well held by Witherall, and the chance is averted. And Witherall is a busy man at the moment. He's walking away from the pitch and away from his goal and looking to send this ball long and quick and early. It looks like the rain might come soon, I think.
Yeah, it looks like you said, with the 3 at the back for Slough, with Sean Fraser playing as the 3rd centre-back.
Yeah, so Slough have adopted a different formation. Hollis, Fraser and Simpson at the back, 5 across midfield with Parsons, Edward, McClurg, Harris, and across there with a triple strike force, I would say. So it's almost like a 3-4-3.
Yeah, but I think the one thing that they're lacking is someone in the midfield who's creative, so I would have liked to see Bridger or myself. As
Hall and Price again combined to cause Slough some difficulties. The ball's cleared by Fraser, who's been excellent, and Warren Harris now in the D, has space to run. Ball bobbled just before he hit it, and it was a long effort, and it goes once again straight into
a shot. Are we going to call that a shot, John?
I wouldn't necessarily say that was a shot.
When the ball comes over, it's just bounced in front of us and been headed a couple of times. Ball sounds a bit flat from where it sounded. Maybe it's just my ears.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
Wetherall had the ball in his hands and Smith was standing in front of him. He wasn't moving and he's kicked it at him, and the referee's given a free kick.
To us? To Slough?
To Aylesbury.
I was going to say that. You can't do that. Ed Smith, who got sent off on Saturday for an incident with the goalkeeper, probably should have learned a little bit more. The spare balls are now being the spare balls are now being hidden by Aylesbury. They've bred.
Is this the multi-ball system being not used?
Yeah, the multi-ball system is, and Cornell now through on goal, lobs the keeper, lobs it over the bar, and that was a great chance for Slough. and it's just not falling right.
No,
at the
best
moment.
opportunity for the second half for Slough. Their ball notes over the top. The defenders missed it. Cornell's clean through. Keeper to beat. He's tried to lob him, and he's put it over the top of the bar, and it's also into the playing field on the opposite side. So
Leighton 1, Dunstable 3 is the latest score.
we've just seen someone walk past with 2 footballs, and we're still waiting for another football.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was he. Is he
Can we book the official for time wasting?
I'm not sure. As the goal kick's just taken down to our left, as it's getting darker by the minute here, as Hollis wins the ball. Perhaps we might need the floodlights on by the end. Floodlight failure, abandon game, abandon game.
Yeah.
Let's have some Egham situations where we could be hopeful. As again, poor control and play there by Slough. And
I don't think the floodlights work after all the floods they had over here in January, do they, John?
Yes, perhaps the moles have chewed through the wires. And Baker's got the ball in his hands, throwing the ball in long in his own half, flicked on well by Hall, up in the direction of Price, who those front two have been very lively today. Tried to play it through to the goal scorer, who's on a hat-trick, Rudd, but marshalled out by Fraser, and it's an attacking throw immediately in front of Steve Bateman in the home dugout, which they're not in a particular hurry to take. And McClurg now facing back towards his own goal, hooked left and missed altogether by McClurg, and then hooked long by McClurg in the second touch, flicked on by Cornell up on halfway line, full to Jake Parsons. Jake Parsons touched it through to Ed Smith, and Warren Harris is now making a run. Ed Smith with a couple of touches, but no one overlapping. Fraser now comes out in front of the away dugout, chips the ball through. But once again, it's a clear header from Mellor, who seems to be picking everything up in his new position as centre half. Simpson now on halfway after McClurg's won the ball back. Turns
It
well.
doesn't look like we're playing against 10 men though, John, does it?
No, they're doing well, and there's not an opportunity. Simpson struggling to find a pass because there's no movement up there in front of him. Ball bobbled around for Fraser, who lumps the ball into Hall and gets a deflection off, and Baker again wins the ball, but Ben Edwards wins the ball. Stepped over, and Harris has the opportunity in the box, strikes, great save with his feet from Weatherall, and hooked clear further by Bateman. And there's a player injured. There's a player injured down in the left-hand box again. Frustrating. The referee still hasn't noticed that there's a player injured.
It's Mellor, I think.
I think Mellor's down in his own box. Aylesbury have a free kick on the D in their own half, up towards the halfway line, and it remains Slough trailing by 3 goals here. But
you've got to give Aylesbury credit here, John. They're down to 10 men, but you wouldn't actually look at it. They're playing really well. Price is up front alongside Hall. They've not put anyone on to kind of like sit in that midfield bit. And Slough just cannot do anything about it. There's no space, there's no movement, there's no creativity.
And Kettering will have to put that champagne on ice. They trail by a goal. Daventry will have to put it on as Kettering have taken the lead, somewhat against the run of play from the Twitter comments. So at the moment, Daventry would drop to 3rd, but with a game in hand. They on 86 points. Dunstable will be top of the table as it stands, with Rugby in 2nd as the ball's thrown out by Somerville to Parsons on halfway, and Parsons, 2 players up against him, tries to win the ball but knocks it out of play, and it's a throw in to Aylesbury. And time running out here for Slough. We've played half an hour in the second half. It is Aylesbury 3, Slough 0.
It doesn't look like there's any more substitutions from Slough coming either.
And Jake takes one in the face as he tries to control it on the near side. The ball hasn't gone. Johnny Dyer takes a touch, tries to pass in to Ed Smith, but the experienced Perkins, who's having a strong game at the back, does well and just cuts it out. Ball out of play though, and McClurg looking to take a throw in quick, throws it to Simpson, who's got Price on his back, and Simpson passes it to Hollis, who's in the centre circle, out to Fraser. Fraser with plenty of space, but Price is working hard to shut him down.
He's
Price
got no option.
The ball, and now it's a foot race, and Price pursued in 10 yards inside the Slough half.
He's Rudd up with him as well.
Rudd taking a touch, but Simpson gets the ball, and now Fraser comes in and clears the ball, and Rudd might be injured, but he's making his way up. He needs to get back and defend, but falls to McClurg deep inside his own half, and a long ball up in the direction Warren Harris up against Baker, but that's meat and drink for Baker as Baker picks the ball up, and Ben Ed now loses out to Bateman, who's charging forwards. And Bateman gets tripped by Ben Ed cynically, and Ben Ed I think might well get booked here.
He's got to go in the book for this one.
And I think Ben Ed is going to get booked. He was about to chip the ball in, I believe.
Referees pointing out the fact that that's like the 3rd foul that he's committed.
But it's a booking there for Ben.
He actually had his red card in his hand for a second there, but it's just a yellow card.
It's a yellow card. So Ben Edward booked in the 75th minute here. I'm losing the plot a little bit. It's not a great day. It's not a great day for Slough Lads, but we're still hopefully in the position where they are in their own destiny going into the last game.
We said earlier, John, that
free kick taken, Price offside, and it will be a
we
free
said
kick
earlier,
to-
John, that Steve Bateman had failed to get Slough up for 4 years in a row. And it looks like he may be stopping.
Final substitution for Slough. Risbridger on.
Ben Edwards coming off.
Ben Edwards off for Gareth Risbridger. Yeah. And Gareth Risbridger on his trail back from injury still, not fully match fit. Is coming on, just getting himself kitted and prepared. Slough have gone to playing 3-4-3 in the quest to try and pull some of these goals back. They're running out of time. 15 minutes remaining here, plus a little bit of injury time, as Somerville, accompanied by a drum beat, is about to take a free kick for offside, 5 yards outside his own box, inside his own half, and he clears the ball long and high. Risbridger underneath it. Cornell flicks the ball on in the direction of Ed Smith, but well dealt with by
Mellor
again. Mellor
sitting
strong
at the
back,
centre
and now
back.
Risbridger's first touch is to head it up in the air again, and the ball bouncing around seemed to fall on the hand, but Simpson and Hollis confuse one another, but Simpson does well. Left-footed clearance agriculturally up in the direction of Cornell, who flicks the ball on, and Harris will be after this with Baker in pursuit as well. It's going to be a foot race, and Harris does well to keep the ball in, but only concedes a throw in the very far corner, and Baker's not in any particular rush to take this.
No, I don't know if Warren Harris is carrying an injury, but he's not been influential in this game at all.
I think it may well be that he is still carrying that knee knock, and it may have affected him. He didn't have his best game either on Saturday or today, as Baker throws the ball up the line, and it falls once again to Price in midfield, and Price trying to turn away from a couple of Slough players, but blocked well by Fraser. Falls to Hall back to Baker, and Baker hurried clearance, only finds McClurg, and McClurg now poor touch there,
lost it.
falls to Parsons in midfield. A couple of touches on the ball to decide where to go, and tries to chip a ball through, but no one's there, and it's harmlessly out for a goal kick, and there isn't any hurry at all from Wetherall, as you'd expect at this stage.
The problem there is, John, that Jake's got the ball in just inside the Aylesbury half, but he's got 4 Slough players behind him: Risbridger, Fraser, Hollis and Simpson. None of them are making a move wide for him to give the ball out to, so he's had to play the ball over the top, and it's gone out for a goal kick. So they've got to make space using this extra man and use the field. It's not happening at the moment.
We're still waiting for the goal kick to be taken. No particular hurry here. Still 3-0. Aylesbury down to 10 men after 2 quick bookings in short succession by Ben Stevens, who had been playing very well. And I can see him off the pitch here. And Aylesbury still pressing forward despite only having 10 men. And Hall now on the left up against Fraser into the edge of the Slough box. And Fraser turns in well. Passes it back into Somerville. Somerville clears the ball high and out for a throw into Aylesbury. And I can't see a goal coming at the moment.
Well, the only way it's going to come, John, is to Aylesbury there. That was a great chance for Simpson. He was played through, but decided what he was going to do, and Jake came out well and blocked that one. But that's the danger that Aylesbury have got. Gareth Price is everywhere up front forward and working hard on his own.
Yeah, Simpson now putting Simpton under pressure, and Simpton concedes the throw in deep in the Slough half on the far side. We've played almost 35 minutes of the second half. Rugby, as far as we're aware, still lead 1-0. Kettering still winning 1-0 against Daventry, and in the other game, Dunstable were 3-1 up. So if those results stay as they are, Slough haven't lost any ground on Barton, and it will all go down to that last final weekend. As ball breaks for Slough, and Slough now keeping the ball on the deck for once, as Fraser passes the ball up to Cornell's feet, and Cornell now hurries to take a throw 10 yards inside the Aylesbury half, throws it back to Risbridger, who's got plenty of time to get the ball under control, take a couple of touches, short ball through to Johnny Dyer towards the edge of the D, chips it out to Cornell. Cornell crosses it and slices it over the bar, and it will be a goal kick which Wetherall will not hurry to take. And Slough aren't just doing enough for me now. They need to push a little bit harder here if they're going to try and get anything out of this game in the last 10 minutes.
But they don't look at. There's no danger at all for Slough. They're not testing the goalkeeper at all. Aylesbury looking the more dangerous for the team, and it's not looking good for the promotion push.
No, and the best player on the pitch by far, I would say, has been Price, closely followed by the captain Perkins and Mellor. I mean, there's lots of players in Aylesbury shirt who've done themselves no harm at all. And ball headed out right to Fraser, and Fraser advancing over halfway line, closed down by double goal scorer Rudd. Pass it back inside to Risbridger, who's on the halfway line. Risbridger looking to do a long ball. Risbridger long ball up in the direction of Cornell. Cornell getting climbed on, but no penalty given. And Baker now picks up the ball. And Ed Smith now goes and shuts the ball down. only as far as a goal kick, and Ed Smith now
He's actually
climbs
got
over
to
the
get the
barriers
ball.
himself, gets the ball himself, because there hasn't been a great deal of pace in getting the ball back. There hasn't been a lot of balls back, and the Slough management team are just looking frustrated. I think it looks like Neil looking at his Twitter account, or I presume looking at his Twitter, they're interested to know what is going on at Rugby.
I think he's just waiting to see how long's left, John, get this game over and done with and get Saturday ready.
Yeah, I don't know when the last time Slough lost two on the row were. Dunstable now.
We're in the middle of a Mexican wave with 3 people doing the Mexican wave next to us.
As the ball breaks to Dyer up against Bateman, down on the left in the Aylesbury half, and Harris comes in to try and shut the ball down, and now falls to McClurg towards the halfway line, outright to Risbridger under pressure for goal. Price now combines, and a ball through from Hall, but Simpson comes across, clears the ball out, and Harris will try and keep the ball in and flicks it on to Johnny Dyer, who's up against Mellor, and Mellor.
A poor touch by Ed Smith there. He's let Perkins come in and take it off his foot.
And now once again, Rudd on the ball on the far side, combines with Hall, but Risbridger gets pushed off the ball a little bit too easily, and it will be a Slough throw on the far side. And the Aylesbury fans are making a lot of noises. Johnny Dyer and Ed Smith combine. Ball out to Jake Parsons towards the edge of the box. Flicks the ball through too heavily for the striker Cornell. And then there's plenty of time for the keeper Wetherall to just wind
It
up
really
a little bit
looks
more
like you're washing 10 against 10 because Slough are not using this extra man whatsoever.
Long clearance comes through, and Simpson tries to come over the back of Price, but ball bounces away, and Hollis heads it clear, and now Price takes it on his chest, tries to play in the right back. Thompson,
and he's
Price
got
just nips in ahead of Simpson, but Simpson does well. Good recovery tackle, out for a throw into Aylesbury.
Price did really well there to get past Simpson in the first place, but Simpson long leg out, sticks it out for a throw in.
And we are almost in the final 5 minutes here.
It's gone out now for a goal kick for Slough.
Dunstable lead.
And then the referees decided it's not a goal kick, it's a throw in.
So there seemed to be a little bit of confusion there. But
Aylesbury had thought it had gone out for a goal kick. They kicked the ball to Jake Somerville. So the linesman had obviously signalled a goal kick, but the referee's given a throw-in.
As it stands, Slough would remain in 5th place, the final playoff spot on goal difference, as long as Rugby still lead at Barton. And how important was that final minute penalty that Egham got against Barton last week to take 2 points away from them? That could be massive come next Saturday, as Slough might sneak into the playoffs in 5th position. As you're not missing anything here, the ball's bobbling around in front of us, and it's a free kick to Aylesbury, which they're not in any hurry to take, just down in front of us, which Price, who I would say has been one of the man of the matches, it's a throw-in, he's just going to take down in front of us. Hall's up there, but up comes Tomlin from the back, and Tomlin takes it surprised at this late stage. You might as well lose 4-0. I suppose they're maybe a little bit concerned about the goal difference, but long throw comes in, and there's only Aylesbury heads underneath it, but it falls to Jake Parsons, edge of the box. Lamar Simpson up against it, chips it towards the far post. Johnny Dyer heads it into the direction of goal, straight into Wetherall's arms, and the danger is averted. And Wetherall will now take his time to just take a moment to compose himself.
Really good defending from Aylesbury. They've looked solid throughout the game. And
long clearance, and Fraser gets underneath it. Fraser's hurt himself down in front of us. Fraser's hurt from a challenge with Price, and he's rolling around. This could mean that Slough go down to 10 men because they've done their 3 substitutions.
It just he jumped with the ball with Gareth Price, and I think it's just the way that he's landed.
And there's a final substitution for Aylesbury now.
Simpson coming off for 17, which is Fraser McLachlan.
And Fraser McLachlan comes on as Sean Fraser, just gets continued treatment from Kev in front of us, and so there will be a bit of stoppage time here, but I'm not sure.
It looks like as he's landed, he's landed on his left ankle, and that's the problem for Sean Fraser.
Ashford have come from a